Hello, sixth graders. How are you doing? It's great to be back with you. It's Mr. Gardell. I hope you're having a fantastic day. All right. Yesterday, one of your learning activities was Chapter 3 vocabulary, specifically on the early Dakota. If you forgot what that learning activity looked like, what I'm showing you right now is page 1, and what you're seeing right now is page 2. What I want to do is make sure that you understand what each of these terms mean, and then go over the fill in the blank questions and provide you with some examples of sentences that I created using those terms in a complete sentence. So right now, what I'm going to ask you to do is to pause the video. And the reason why I want you to do this is I want you to be able to compare my responses to yours, and so you can kind of determine where you're at, what words you need to get better at and focus on, and what words you're very good at. And if you made a mistake with the fill in the blank, that'd be a good time to fix it. But I just want to make sure that as we move forward, we're learning and growing together. So again, now would be a good time to pause the video. All right, I'm going to pull up a Google slide to share with you each of the terms. And I'm going to start with the first one, which is Minnesota Makoche. And what Minnesota Makoche is, it's a Dakota term that inspired the name of our state, Minnesota. It means land where the waters are so clear they reflect the clouds in the sky. Or a short way to say that is sky-tinted waters. So if you think about the name of our state, Minnesota, it really means in Dakota, sky-tinted waters, meaning that because we have so many numerous lakes and rivers that were created by these glaciers many years ago, is that on a clear day, literally the reflection from the sky, okay, would be bouncing off of these lakes and rivers within our state. Teepee. Teepee is simply a cone-shaped house made by stretching animal skins over a frame of wooden poles. And the unique thing about a teepee is, one, you could make it the size you wish, but the other thing is that it's movable. Think of it like a tent. Think about it if you were to go camping. Okay, you might spend a couple of days in one location and then you move to a different location. You just basically pack up your tent and move it to the next location and put it back up. A teepee was essentially the same thing. And what's really unique about a teepee is that it had a hole at the top. Does anybody know why? Well, the reason is teepees in the colder months would have a fire in the middle. And the reason why there was a hole at the top is so that the smoke could escape through the top or opening of the teepee, and that way people could stay warm in the colder months. Generosity. Generosity simply means the habit of giving without expecting anything in return. I'm going to challenge you. When's the last time you were generous towards someone else? In other words, when's the last time you did something for someone else without expecting anything in return? In other words, if you are getting an allowance because you have to clean your bedroom, you have to vacuum, you have to do the laundry, you have to do the dishes, that's not being generous. Okay? And if you haven't recently been generous, what can you do moving forward to be generous towards someone else? Kinship is just simply close connections to one's relatives. The early Dakota really were close to each other. They built that kinship, and they had extended family members who would live with them, and that enabled them to have that close connection to one another, which basically means kinship. Extended family, all relatives, including parents, children, grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles. In other words, everyone in your extended family could potentially be living in the same teepee as you, or live in a community where there are multiple teepees, but your extended family is living near each other. Income is just simply money or other benefits received in payment for goods or services. So if I provide a service, for example, I fix somebody's automobile, okay, they're going to pay me for that service. Or another example of a good would be, let's say that I have something that somebody wants. Okay, I used to, when I was younger, collect baseball cards, and I still have my baseball cards. But let's say somebody wanted a specific baseball card, I could sell that baseball card, that good, to someone else and make money or income off of it. Human capital is a very challenging and difficult word to understand. By definition, it means the knowledge and skills individuals have that enhance their ability to earn income. In other words, there are multiple things that you and I can do to improve our human capital. One is improving our education. I feel like every single day I learn something new. I always go out and try to research or search something out there where I can learn something new. What are you doing to challenge yourself to learn something new? Are you staying healthy? Are you asking for help or self advocating for yourself when you need help? And so I think the picture in the bottom right, education equals your future, okay, is a good way to think about it, is that improve your education to hopefully someday earn good income by whatever career path you decide. Respect, expression of courtesy and consideration towards others. Okay, think about the last time you were in the classroom. Were you respectful to your classmates? All right, so those are the 8 terms, and I'm going to go back to the learning activity itself. And let's go through the fill in the blank questions. Number 1, in the Dakota society, generosity, kinship, or respect is a valued custom. So any one of those answer choices would have fit perfectly into that fill in the blank. Number 2, traditional Dakota social structure was formed by the extended family. And lastly, people need to develop their abilities in order to succeed in life. One of the Dakota skills was hunting. Experts in economics refer to job skills and knowledge of workers as human capital. I'll use an example of a student from last school year. She someday down the road wants to become an auto mechanic. And so what she started doing as a 6th grader is she would hang around her dad, who also was an auto mechanic, and he was kind of teaching her little things here and little things there. And she's starting to pick up on all of that. And her hope is when she graduates from high school, she can further her education by going to a college and learning to become more enhanced with her mechanical skills to ultimately fix automobiles. But she's starting that process right now, or did last year, as an 11-year-old. So that's an example of human capital as well. Down below or on page 2, what you needed to do is to take those terms that were grouped together and create one sentence. So for example, my sentence for generosity, kinship, and respect is the early Dakota showed generosity, kinship, and respect toward each other. And that was what they valued. The Dakota really valued those 3, generosity, kinship, and respect. Number 2, as I'll call it, TP and extended family. Here's my sentence. The Dakota's extended family members all lived in one large TP. And for human capital and income, my sentence is improving one's human capital may lead to increased income. So the big thing that I want you to get in the habit of when it comes to typing or writing your sentences for vocabulary is 1, make sure it starts with a capital. 2, make sure it ends with a period. Okay, develop those habits now so that you don't have to fix those habits as you get older. But also think about what the terms mean and how are you going to take those terms and put them into a sentence so that it applies in this case to what we're learning, the early Dakota. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, Mr. Gardell, or your HOA teacher. Thanks for your time. Have a great day, 6th graders.